Hey guys, it's Stu. Just another inbox review of quite a well-known fighter during the Second World War. In fact, it was the first operational jet fighter. It is indeed the Messerschmitt Me262. This particular variant was the Me262B1a U1 night fighter. Unfortunately, it was brought in too late into the war to make any effect on the outcome of the war, but all the same, a very unique aircraft, and I do believe two replicas have actually been built in the States and are flying now. So also rumour has it there may be one flying around the UK air show circuit this year, so that'll be a sight to behold. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with the box review itself. This particular kit was released, I believe, around about 3 years ago. And I bought this one about 3 years ago when it was initially released. The kit number, as you can see, is 04179. That's 04179. The illustration on the box depicts a night fighter variant actually wreaking havoc through a bomber stream in the late stages of the war. So it was around about circa 1945 April, which is only about a month before the war ended. Next, on the side of the box, you've got a brief history about the aircraft. Unfortunately, there are no side illustrations on this box because it is too tiny, really, to be honest with you. Again, as with Revell kits, it's the normal side opening box. And I'm just going to take the contents out now. He says, famous last words. Okay. There we go. As per usual, you've got the bag of one lot of sprues. Need I say more? I did have a little rant some time ago, but I'm not going to say any more. Enclosed with it is the decals as well. First off, we're going to have a look through the instruction sheet. Okay. Again, you've got an illustration of the box art on the top of the first page, along with a brief history of the aircraft, as you can see here. Okay. Again, upon opening the instructions, you get the normal sort of read before you start scenario, as you see there, along with the aforementioned symbols. Okay. And obviously the first stage of the build, as is per usual with aircraft kits, is indeed, if I have a look, the colour callouts. As you can see there, referring to Revell colours, but again, you can get an app which actually can convert the colours. Okay, but I'll tell you more about that later on in a future video. Again, you've got the sprue tree to check that you've got everything in the box that should be there. And as is per usual, the first stage of the assembly is actually putting holes in the actual engine bay where the guns are. Okay. And various holes where all the appliances go, okay, on the interior of the fuselage halves. Then you've got the normal thing that you do is assemble the cockpit tub, and obviously it indicates what colours to paint the actual control panel. And then you've got the navigator and radio operator station there as well. Okay. And then the next process of the build is obviously put the two essentially cockpit halves into the fuselage, weight the nose, because otherwise this is going to be a tail heavy aircraft otherwise, and that won't look good. And then button up the fuselage. Okay, then you put the gun bay on along with the undercarriage bay, which you see there, the nose wheel, and then you've got the spine which goes on the back of the fuselage. Wing halves go together. And then assemble the fuselage to the wings, and then it's the assembly of the engine nacelles. Okay. Next off is the engine nacelles to the bottom of the wings, and then you apply the tail planes. Then assemble the nose gill bay, and you've got the option of actually having it closed and in flight mode. However, sadly to say, there is no stand actually put in within the box, so I find this a bit strange, to be honest with you. Maybe you may have to source one, I don't know. Again, then you're assembling the main undercarriage bays along with the wheel bogies, which you see there. Okay, and then you basically assemble the radar arrays and pitot tubes. You may possibly have to source aftermarket because I don't think, to be honest with you, they are true to scale. Again, you've got the radar on the back of the spine and you add the canopy. And then you will actually assemble the fuselage, the actual aircraft tanks, which go on the front of the aircraft. and then assemble the Liechtenstein radar. Again, I would suggest you get an aftermarket one, as the actual scale of this is a little bit thick. Okay. And then finally you've got the one colour call out, and there's only actually one colour scheme for one aircraft that was used around about April 45, which was flown by Lieutenant Kurt Welter in April 45. And then you've got the familiar night colour scheme. Okay, Revell 74 onto 76. And then you've got the splinter colour scheme on the wings and the tailplanes, and the normal night black underneath. Okay, and it just basically shows you where to assemble, where to position all the decals and the stencils. Okay, so that is basically the assembly of the kit. Now we're going to have a look at the internal details. First off, we'll have a look at the decal sheet. Very nicely printed, guys, I have to say. There's a lot of detailed stencils there, which is lovely. Sad to say though, we haven't got a swastika, so I think again you'll have to do an aftermarket source for that. Okay. First off, on the first sprue, get it out. You basically got, oh, sorry about this guys, bear with me. You've got the gun bay, fuel tanks, and then there's the undercarriage bay, pilot seat, and obviously, actually sorry, beg to differ, it is the radio operator's seat and navigation station with the aforementioned control panel. If I can get it in the light, I don't know if you guys can see it. Again, that looked nice with a bit of dry brushing, etc. Okay, and then you've got the pitot tubes and undercarriage, and quite neat. And then you've got the engine nacelles, which you see there. Okay. Next sprue is obviously the canopy itself. Not bad. I would suggest you get a masking set, which you can get an aftermarket one, rather than try to mask it yourself, because it'd be quite complicated, and to be honest with you, do your eyes in. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright guys, but not a bad cockpit all the same. Canopy, nice and clear, which you can see. And then the next sprue is obviously, if I can get it out of the bag, the fuselage halves and the engine nacelles. There's a lovely bit of recessed panel detail, which you can see here, very much in scale, sharp and crisply moulded, so that it's going to make a superb little kit. And there's the aircraft spine, which you see there with a little bit of internal detail, and then you've got the undercarriage bay there, very nicely moulded. That looked nice, dry brushed, as well as a little bit of a wash there. And then the final sprue, well, penultimate sprue, I beg your pardon, is obviously the wings. Again, some beautifully recessed panel detail, which you can see here, guys, and also on the undercarriage legs, as you can see. So that's going to look really lovely, weathered up. Okay, very nice. And obviously you've got the stations for the tanks, which you see there. Beautifully moulded, not an ounce of flesh on this aircraft, so hats off to Revell. And I'll just turn it around so you can actually see the undercarriage internal bays on there. Look at the detail on that, guys, isn't it superb? Very sharp and very crisp. Beautiful bit of wash will go on that, lovely. And then final sprue is obviously, as I said before, it's a little bit out of scale. It's got the Liechtenstein radar array on it. Can you see what I mean? I think, to be honest with you, you're going to have to get an aftermarket etched brass set for that to get it a little bit more thinner and in scale. Alright guys. And there's your spine again. And this, I think, is part of the main... oh no, this is the internal part of the cockpit, as you can see there, with the cockpit floor and side panels. Alright, then you've got the joint stick, which you see there, and that's the pilot seat. Not a lot of detail on it, guys, so I think you may have to get some aftermarket etched brass seat belts, or to use Tamiya tape. Okay, so all in all, quite a neat little kit, I have to say. Beautifully moulded. Quite cheap for the price I got it, actually, to be honest with you. I think I only got it for about £6.99 at the time. But yeah, do buy one. It will probably turn out to be a superb, accurate little kit. But as I say, you may need to add a little bit of aftermarket detail just to make it look a bit more authentic. All the same, lovely little kit. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the review. So until then, get kit crazy, and I'll see you on the next one.